Fortnite Season 4 is already halfway complete, and with Epic Games releasing a new survey full of skins, potential Battle Pass ones upcoming next on December 5th, 2022, let's just say single-handedly this may reveal the direction of the storyline, only really going one way now with the live event that's going to be occurring, putting us into a 2-day downtime starting Chapter 4, which I know you guys definitely won't want to miss, so it's vital you stick around until the end of today's video, as you also just witnessed a mirror get smashed, which means 7 years bad luck if you don't. I wouldn't risk it. With Fortnite also releasing so many exclusives, I'm curious, do you know the name of this pack? Comment it down below, as I'll be showing a ton of hearted comments on screen in the next video, so make sure to leave a like also and subscribe with all notifications on to see if you're showcased. Huge shout out also to the best people on planet Earth rocking code FM1 inside the Fortnite item shop, being one of the shortest and easiest codes to enter, only 3 digits long. But with that said, enough messing around, don't click off the video, we've got a ton of Chapter 4 intel to discuss, especially revealed today, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm sitting on my
Don't
back.
go anywhere.
The first piece of information pointing toward Chapter 4 started December 5th, 2022, which is when the next season of Fortnite is set to release instead of Chapter 3 Season 5. If you haven't taken too much of a look at the Battle Pass, especially in the bottom left corner, it states this season's ending December 3rd, meaning if the next season starts whatever it is on the 5th, this of course means we're going into a 48-hour downtime, which is typically only seen from transitions from chapter to chapter, as typically in the transition of season to season we only see a few hours downtime on a screen that doesn't then allow us to play. Don't forget too, Epic Games planned all the updates until the end of this season prior to its start in Chapter 3 Season 3, as they went all the way on the testing servers up to 23.40, which for those that don't know is the last update of next season, whether it is Chapter 3 Season 5 or Chapter 4 Season 1, and as of now, speaking of the last update of this season, Chapter 3 Season 4, we don't know the release date of it, but we do 22.30, which as data miners have been able to determine lands on November 15th, 2022 until it potentially is changed. Also, with the Scene No live event last season, it's a no-brainer that this season that's been determined to be already tested prior to the season's start is going to be even bigger than better than a normal one, especially if we are transitioning into a brand new chapter, meaning a new island, which believe it or not is another point proving this is already coming true that got leaked. For those that have been living under a rock, of course, the codename Mythology got updated onto one of the test map servers and then swiftly changed back straight after, and we know Epic Games are making short mistakes like this that people seem to have their eyes on the ball with instantaneously, as last season Nintendo revealed, well, that the paradigm would be upcoming in this Battle Pass, the new remix version that we saw in the Collision event, but obviously now can unlock in the Battle Pass itself for Season 4, and that of course through the same tease that some sort of goo or liquid-like substance would be consuming everything that we now know to be the chrome. Speaking of the chrome and with it consuming everything, kinda like the sideways that we saw consume our old island, or most of it before the end event or Chapter 2 finale, with this stemming from the center point of the island where the Cube Queen was charging up to actually bring the last reality to swallow what we know as Reality Zero, the Fortnite island that we're on inside of the loop. Speaking of this faction, the last reality themselves, and with so many unanswered questions that we're going to be going over further on in the video, such as what is this ship that seems to be even bigger than a mothership that went over the island and was bigger than the island itself, with us finally being revealed to the name of this character watching the reality tree in the Chapter 3 Season 3 cinematic trailer toward its end, the Herald. Unlike the Cube Queen, with her being on the island already at the start of the season and a mythic boss that actually drops a weapon that we can fight in every single individual game, perhaps Epic Games haven't gone with the same route of implementing a bigger character of the Cube Queen directly above where the live event will be taking place as a focal point, as there's already so many hints pointing toward Chapter 4 upcoming with this particular character, with resemblances to the Cube Queen in the cosmetic descriptions such as something coming to an end being this reality we're in now, ultimately meaning this chapter, as the chrome is spreading from the direct source of which the Herald has set up base at Herald Sanctum now, that obviously took over the Sanctuary name, location or base of operation of members of the Seven, with Fortnite being in one of the lowest popularities it's ever been in according to Google Trends, at least anyways. Considering Chapter 3 literally started a whole year prior on December 5th, 2021, is it a coincidence that the season or what's coming next anyways, whether it is Season 5 of Chapter 3 or Chapter 4, also starts exactly a year later on December 5th, 2022? This makes sense considering not only have we got the new map codename Asteria, which directly lines up with the codenames of the other chapter-based maps in the game's files, Chapter 1 being Athena, Chapter 2 being Apollo, and Chapter 3 being codename Artemis. All of these are referencing Greek mythology, and for those that don't know, Asteria in Greek mythology itself is actually someone who could transform or shapeshift into a whole island, of which on the island then where Apollo and Artemis were born. And considering we're in Artemis now, or Chapter 3, and Apollo is the prior codename chapter, Chapter 2, could this mean with Athena coming before both of these, we could be getting an opposite take as to what happened when the black hole expanded in another dimension or outside of the loop itself? Of course this makes sense with no mention or reference to Athena being the Chapter 1 codename island in this Asteria story, and with us knowing from the prior visitations of the last reality on our Fortnite islands, it ultimately means an end is coming for the current one way on, as it was revealed through the Byte Quests. Of course, the Herald is a part of the last reality, referencing the nothing taking over everything or being all that remains, just like the Cube Queen. Despite all of this making sense, there's one more thing that's left to be answered by Epic Games, or what I think I've come to a conclusion of in terms of the live event, what's going to be happening, and where we're going to be going entering Chapter 4 on this new map. To explain this, we need to rewind the clock slightly as to what I promised to talk about earlier in the video, being this ship in the end event for Chapter 2's finale. Of course, with this being in the distance of another dimension that the Cube Queen opened a gateway to, allowing it to, well, come through onto the Fortnite Island or any of the motherships. With the sheer magnitude of how many motherships were here, but only one of these types of ships, and we now know the name of the ship to be called the Cradle, which of course was revealed from a loading screen that we got for free off Epic Games around the time of the end event itself, as it wasn't so noticeable back then how big this ship actually was, with data miners and leakers being able to port the models of all of the things in scale size comparison. As you can see on the right hand side, we have the Fortnite Island, obviously with the flip side underneath. Next to it on the left, a mothership, which doesn't seem that much bigger, but obviously is, as we know from it hovering over the Fortnite Island. And then left to that, again, what is, well, the Cradle ship, or ultimately the mothership of motherships, which of course, again, we could only see through this dimensional portal, as ultimately the mothership, or one of them itself, hovering above the island, was literally taking up the entirety of the loop that we now got to look at from the Chapter 3 trailer, with clever people managing to decipher from the original Chapter 1 end event tapes from the scientist that he was outside the loop and others were there too. Could this be where the storyline is transitioning to next, especially where Geno is, as we don't know the location of him currently, that we saw in the 0 point at the end of the Collision Live event in Chapter 2 Season 2? And in itself, could Chapter 4's Asteria Island be one of the realities that has been consumed or taken by the last reality themselves, which is stored inside the Cradle, considering, as mentioned in this tweet, I stated that you could literally have hundreds of Fortnite Islands or realities or motherships inside of the Cradle. After all, with the faction that actually mans this being called the last reality, perhaps all other realities within each universe of Fortnite being inside here, Reality 0 is the last reality to be stored within it. And with the Foundation's complete disappearance, despite other members of the Seven seemingly being dead or disintegrated into chrome, completely consumed by it, with it spread on the island with the arrival of the Herald, this perfectly lines up with what we saw last chapter. The Foundation disappears into the water after being spat out of the Spire in Chapter 2 Season 7's trailer from being inside or trying to contain the 0 points, and then not only finally reappearing in the Chapter 2 Season 8 end event, but taking off his mask, revealing underneath to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, despite the Foundation forever being an interesting character or skin in Fortnite's storyline especially. Speaking of skins, the moment you've all been waiting for, what's been revealed today, potentially Chapter 4 Battle Pass skins, despite the other surveys obviously having skins on that haven't come to the game yet. As you can see, Sheena tweeted out all new survey skins. Please keep in mind, usually some of these are even a part of the next Battle Passes or show some new important lore skins. With me showing them on screen right now, feel free to pause the video to get a good look at any one of them, considering there's quite a few on this list right here today. Specifically the most interesting ones in terms of Fortnite's storyline progression, despite Geno already being revealed from not only the Fortnite x Marvel Zero War comics, but in one of the previous surveys. As you can see right here on screen, Happy Power tweeted out in today's skin survey, we can see what appears to be a new Last Reality member. Perhaps this is the Nothing. Of course, highlighted here is what basically implies it due to the characteristics or direct aesthetic resemblances to other Last Reality members. And then furthermore, interestingly, what makes me believe we're going into another dimension outside of the loop, or outside of the loop in general itself, with us all thinking Dr. Sloan in this reality was dead anyways. Other snapshots of her, of course, exist from entering the 0 point multiple times or basically working her whole life surrounding it. As you can see, Happy Power tweeting out as a joke, but kinda true at the same time, Dr. Sloan is immortal confirmed, as there's new variants of her, but only on this new survey that Epic Games have released today, early concept skins of. It's safe to say at least one of these is lore related, considering we have had other variants of storyline related skins previously appear in bundles, such as recently this Anime Legends pack having a new variant of Midas within it. However, when we previously got our first look at this skin on a survey early, there was only this one variant and not two, which makes me believe at least one of them, of course, is related to the storyline or lore progression. And with Chapter 4 literally trending nearly every day in the gaming space anyways, or if you follow a lot of Fortnite content creators, you'll have seen this in the What's Happening section over on Twitter. Many people think players would be genuinely upset if now we not only see Chapter 4 start on December 5th, 2022, but if we don't get yearly chapters to refresh the game. As you can see, it spikes when a new chapter releases. Leave a like if you want Chapter 4 next instead of Chapter 3 Season 5, and don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on as soon as new leaks or information pour out confirming this furthermore. Speaking of where you go now, make sure to click the video I've specifically picked out for you on screen, but most importantly, hopefully I can catch you in the very next video I do post on the channel.